Good morning, Pink. Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. It is hump day. It is the middle of the week. Yes, do tap the screen so everybody can come on in. Good morning. Oh, good morning, Carolyn. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Um, I slept like a baby last night. Let me tell you, I slept so good. Hey, Dee Dee, good morning. I slept amazing. Like, after we got off the watch party, I knocked out. And I mean, I was hungry and was too tired to get up and fix something and didn't even want to order anything. That's how tired. I know, Lacelia. Good morning, beautiful. Um, I just was bushed and it was a long day. It was just a long day in general, but then watching the Pro Bowl, and then I'm such a big kid, the internet was irritating the hell out of me because I was like, it better not mess up on something I really wanted to see. Good morning, Soher. Hey, Nicole, good morning. Good morning, Tanya. So, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. And I know everybody had to wake up this morning with a smile, excuse me, a smile on their faces because the Pro Bowl games did not disappoint. Did not disappoint. Yes, he did, Nicole. The Nielsen ratings haven't come out. They've been guesstimating about where it's at or whatever, but Shador normally commands a audience of about 6 to 10 mil minimal. He's gotten up to like 22 mil people tuned in watching him. So the numbers haven't come in yet from the Nielsen ratings, but we know that his entire internet family was tuned in, whether we were online together, streaming from our phones, at work, sneaking on the computer and watching, or we were in person. Um, let's talk about some of the key takeaways. Yes, girl, lots of sneaking. I know it was lots of people sneaking because while we was doing a watch party, I had people texting me from the unit talking about, girl, let me hurry up and do this man pass so I can watch the game. So yes, and it was, normally we don't condone breaking the rules, but yesterday was a family day. Okay. It was a family day. So let's get into some of the takeaways from Pro Bowl. One of the things that I really loved about Pro Bowl is how it was 100% community, whether it was local or global. And that wasn't just with Shador, it was with all of the players. I love what they did in terms of making it an international event, and there were children representing other countries that were there watching the game. The players had their families there. Good morning, Matt. Um, and they were so engaged. They were so engaged. Now we gonna talk about our nephew, but let's give other people a little chance to shine. There were a lot of other players there who they brought their families and they had their friends there, and it just was a overall feel good moment. Good morning, Tiffany. Yes, y'all keep tapping the screen. Um, from the interview clips, something that we saw that we have not seen, and we just gonna call a thing that we haven't seen since Shador came to the NFL. Other teams will talk about players in pressers. Other teams have rarely, if ever, put other team members of other teams on their pages. Now, mind you, Shador was all over everybody's pages, every team's page, but that wasn't where it stopped. I mean, this was the first time I felt like, for once, it stopped being this barbaric competition, and these gentlemen were able to just let their guards down and have some fun. they were giddy. They were laughing. They were joking with each other. They were flicking it up like we do at brunch. I mean, they were talking to each other as if they were at the corner pub, just enjoying themselves. You could literally see in their body language how comfortable they all were. It was okay to dap it up and pile around with one another, even with the coaching staff. The coaches were even relaxed, and it made for a really feel good moment. You could tell that a breath of fresh air had been blown into the NFL, and it was a beautiful thing to see. Good morning. Good morning, V. Good morning, Sleepless. I really enjoyed watching and listening to them interview different people. The idea that these gentlemen got to get out there and they got to exchange positions and play positions that, how, for all we know, thank you, sir. For all we know, these are probably things that were on these guys' bucket lists. We had quarterbacks being centers. We had centers being wide receivers. Thank you, Melcat. We had quarterbacks being running backs and wide receivers, special teams being able to quarterback and wide receive. It was so much fun. The game is fun again. And this is something that we talked about months ago when we said Shedeur is going to change the game. He's going to make it fun again. It's going to get back to being good gridiron football where people actually love to go to the games. Even when Shiloh was streaming, you could even see in the stands, everybody was wearing the jersey or the shirt representing the player or the team that they liked, but people were talking and taking pictures and smiling. It was a very feel good moment. I know that Shiloh and Bucky and their editing teams are busy. They threw up a lot of on the spot videos last night, but I can't wait to see all of the stuff that they did because they streamed for almost 3 hours straight. So there's lots of stuff that they got. I love watching them live, but I also like going back and looking at their videos once they've had an opportunity to go through all of them and edit and then add things. I've said this before, Shedeur does two types of interviews. He interviews professionally when he's up on that podium and presser, and then he interviews comfortably and organically when he is being talked to by either Shiloh or Bucky. Those two have those two have creative license to yes, they did. They did. They did. You can tell that Shedeur, he's growing up. Not that he was, but he was our baby. But watching him move around and play and talk and be in the presence of folks, you can see the maturation that has happened since he left Colorado. You can also see his aura, how it is just sprinkled all over the place. And everybody is like, yo, it's cool to be like this. It's okay for us to laugh and talk and kid with each other. It's okay to, throw jabs. We can hug it up. We can laugh. We can celebrate. Um, and everywhere he went, and whether he was talking to coaches, whether he was talking to players, um, he is so authentic in himself that Shedeur, when he feels safe now, mind you, because he's guarded, but when he feels safe, he will open his mouth and brace yourself because 1000% of truth is falling from his lips. Shiloh was trolling him about not winning the 100K, but winning the 50K. Shiloh said, feel different when you make plans for 100K and now you're only getting 50K. Shedeur said, it feel different when you think you're getting 40 mil. No, he said your plans change. And I said to myself, I said, "Oh yes, our baby is comfortable now. He is in his element. He feels safe. He feels comfortable because Shador ain't gonna never lie to you now. He'll throw that little Scooby Doo little giggle he got in there to soften the blow. But Shador don't lie to you. He gonna tell you the truth. I have not seen Shador this fluid since Colorado. Since before Pro Day at Colorado. He had on them dancing diamonds. And let me tell you something. Y'all know Auntie pays close attention to Shador. I watch what he does. I watch what he wears. I look at how he's engaging in his body language and what it tells you. When Shador, when Shador is in his mojo, oh yeah, he's either got on that legendary charm or he got on them dancing diamonds. He got on them dancing diamonds tennis necklaces. Because he was in the building, in the building. And what I loved about it is that, everybody was trying to clown him about it. And I love that the vets, they went on ahead and came on out with theirs too. Because it was a lot of people out there with some dancing diamonds. It was a lot of people out there with some dancing diamonds. And I love that. It is the culture. It is who they are. Every generation, there is an athlete that does something or athletes that do something that totally changed the game. Michael Jordan, it was the big shorts and then the Air Jordans. Allen Iverson came along. It was the fishtail braids, the tattoos, and the baggy clothes. I mean, every generation has that one person that touches the culture and changes how it is. Opulence and living good, feeling good, looking good. It is part of the culture. And it is part of the culture because we said it's okay to be that way. It's not unattainable. Whether you rocking designer or not. And I love that about Shador. I love that about Shador, that he makes it okay to be a superstar in whatever you are in. I love the fact that that all of the players were engaged with the fans. They took pictures, they held babies, they hugged grandmas and aunties. It was a family affair of a global scale. And I hope that the NFL saw, hello from North Kakalaki. I hope that the NFL saw that we missed this. Now, true enough, it wasn't the gridiron lock it up hit kind of thing, but it was fun. It was fun. The first beginning of the game, I was like, I don't know if I like this because this looked weird to me. But as they began to play, and clown, because let's talk about Bowles, honey. Because even though Bowles did not get the MVP, he was the MVP with his big old self. Baby boy said, I am a wide receiver today. I'm a wide receiver today. Let me get them touches. Not only did he get the touches, but let us talk about the love he's shown to Shador, not just yesterday in the game. Those two, this entire practice and process, they have been media sweethearts. I mean, anytime the two of them are on, the chemistry between them and the comedic timing of the two of them. Bo said, what you eat before the game? Shador said, a salad. Bo said some chicken, some shrimp. Shador said a little chicken, a little chicken. It just works so well. One of them is being deadpan serious, and the other is trolling and being funny, and then it reverses, and it worked. So in my book, Bowles made MVP. Let's talk about Joe Burrow. Now, Joe Burrow is one of those people who he's just kind of monotone in his expression. He does presses and stuff like that, but he doesn't do a lot of talking. But yesterday we got to see him light up. Um, Following his injury and his coming back to play, as a player, I can only imagine. I don't know what that feels like to have everything hanging in the balance. But yesterday, he he got out there and was had his little moment. He was in quarterback mode and then made that touchdown. We was like, okay, Joe. He was like, yeah. Not that he doesn't do run in touchdowns, but it's a little different when you get to release and not have the pressure. And for him coming back off of an injury, I think it was awesome. Now, let's talk about Joe Flacco and Shador. When we saw them together in Berea, and Shador was asking Joe if he got a dance, do you do a dance with you? And Joe was like, no. And Shador told the whole world, yeah, I love Flacco. He the grandpa. Now let's be real. If that had come out of anybody else's mouth, you'd have been like, "Now come on, young man." But coming out of Shador's mouth, it's love for him. That is the level of respect that he has for Joe. He knows Joe was playing when his dad was playing. He's been in the game for a long time. And we knew when Joe was in Cleveland, as best he could, he did show love to Shador. He talked to him, he mentored him. And despite the people who were in charge being stank, Joe was what he was supposed to be. And watching him and Shador mesh, that crap that these sporting websites come out with talking about what somebody said, I don't think Joe ever said he wasn't going to be a mentor to anybody. I really don't. I don't believe a lot of the stuff that comes out of these sporting websites because I don't know if they're bots and where are you getting your sources. And please don't nobody say MKC because she's pure D garbage. Yes, she is. She is not a reliable, credible, or credentialed source. So there's that. Yeah. But watching Shador and Joe together was amazing. I loved the HBCU representation. I loved the HBCU representation. Um, those two coaches, Mike Vick and why do I always forget the other baby's name? Y'all know who I'm talking about. Shador and those two. There is something to be said about people who attend HBCUs, whether you play sports or you're academic. It is a unilateral bond between the people who have attended Deshaun Jackson. Thank you, guys. There is a unilateral bond that is shared with people who have attended an HBCU. One, for the historical foundation of it. Two, the standard of excellence that is expected and is delivered hand over foot. So when people try to minimalize and marginalize, oh, he went to an HBCU. Mind your manners and your tone because a whole lot of stuff that you got is because of what came out of those HBCUs. I said what I said. It was a lot of fun listening to what we don't get to hear and see. Good morning, Jazzy, because Deshaun and Mike Vick are in constant conversation with Shador. And it is a beautiful thing to know that during this process, when we were like upset because he's there in Cleveland and he only has his mom there, that's a lot for just him and his mom to bear. It is nice to know that during this process, there were so many people who were mentoring him, reaching out to him, talking to him, sharing with him. The idea that, yes, he was mentored and trained by Tom Brady at one point, but Mike Vick and Deshaun Jackson talked to him often. Um, he went to an HBCU. That's where he started his collegiate career. That is his foundation and his basin. And to have these folks, oh, I forgot about Michael Strahan too. To have these folks who are constantly in his ear, keeping him lifted, sharing their experiences, good, bad, and otherwise. I'm so proud and so happy for him that even though we didn't know about all those things in the backdrop, that those things were happening. To hear and see the other players on the other teams who were bigging him up and telling him they were really excited about the upcoming season. Everybody is abuzz and excited about next year's season. Everybody is excited about what's going to happen in the fall. And the Pro Bowl, I said this 2 days ago. I said the Pro Bowl is going to be very telling as far as the direction that the NFL is going to go in, not based off of the NFL's promotion team and administrative team, but the player core itself. The players had an opportunity to breathe and just be themselves, and I think that is always necessary, especially when you're in a period of recharge. And that is what off season is. It's your opportunity to recharge, rebuild, regroup, throw some things away, add some things to your toolbox. And that was the most beautiful and the most positive way that the players could do it and be together. I am certain that the rest of the week, everybody is there, for the Super Bowl. And let me tell you something. I've done a Super Bowl before. I did Super Bowl, as a matter of fact, I did two. I did Super Bowl 2008 and Super Bowl 2010. Yes. So the Super Bowl game is on Sunday, but the week before Super Bowl, all of the players in the NFL converged to the city that the game is at. At the time in 2008, at that time, I was a personal chef and caterer. So I was taking care of some fellas who were getting ready for the combine for the draft and was able to get into some of the parties. There are parties all week, there are brunches. You get an opportunity to go to different events that are hosted by either players, coaches, brand deals, brands like Madden, Gatorade, Nike, music performing artists. They come into the city. They host stuff too. When I tell you at the end of that week, so my day would start, I would get up. I was in Scottsdale. I had to be in Tempe by 6:30 in the morning. I would go in the morning, prepare all of their meals and their snacks for the day, clean the kitchen, stock refrigerator, leave, go back to Scottsdale, get in a nap. And then at about 9:30, 10 o'clock, we're dressed out the door and we're either going to a day party, we're going to some NFL experience or something. And because my godbrother is a trainer of most of these athletes in the NFL, we got access to stuff. So it was amazing. So when I tell you, anybody who is there for Super Bowl week and they're in Cali. I know they are having a great time. Oh my God. It is so, if you ever get the opportunity to do Super Bowl week, by the time you finish doing Super Bowl week, if you don't have tickets to the game, you don't care. You don't even care. You don't even care. I went to a party that was hosted by Donovan McNabb, and just walking through there, you see people you see on TV, and it's just like, oh, okay. But I also learned some other things, because taking care of professional athletes and performing artists, you quickly learn that the people who are really the superstars are not the ones that we see on TV. It's the people that are in the background, the movers and shakers. So when you see Coach Prime and you see Miss Connie Schwartz, that is, Oh, she's a superstar. Yeah, the agents and the managers, the record label people, the trainers, the like Daryl, Shedeur's quarterback coach, that's a superstar. Yeah. The athletes and the performing artists, they are stars. Don't get it twisted. The people that's behind the scenes that's making this happen, you quickly learn those are the people you need to be talking to. I mean, you can get you an autograph or two if you want to, but the people who are really making, who are doing the shake and the bake, it's the people that are behind the scenes. But I can tell you this, um, knowing that all of the Sanders, well, Shalimar, she's at school, basketball season. I think it's spring training. She's at school, so she's not there. But the rest of the Sanders, including Snow, are in the building. And we got to talk about the uncle moment. We got to talk about the uncle moment because Shiloh just melted when Snow reached his arms out for him. So you know you ain't gonna be able to tell Shiloh nothing. He's already the number one son. He's the favorite grandson. Now he is the favorite uncle. What threw me was Shedeur and Shiloh playing catch with their nephew. Those two are diabolical. No, and folks tried to comfort Deandra when she said no, they're not ready. You see what they doing with the boy in front of his mama? Of course he does. Snow is, you know how we always say that all five of the Sanders are a different font of Coach Prime? Snow is a combination font of all his uncles. Of all his uncles. All of them. He walked like his grandpa. He is always laughing and hugging like Shedeur. He is mischievous and adorable like Shiloh. And he stayed dressed to impress and ready for whatever like Uncle Bucky. He is all of his uncles all rolled up in one. But I'm gonna tell you what Snow don't play with. Snow don't play with the mascots. That mascot came walking and Snow took off like Gizmo the Mogwai from the Gremlins. He took off. Shiloh called himself trying to toughen him up, and Snow looked at him and looked over at that mascot and was like, whatever, dude. I ain't playing with that thing. I am, speaking of which, I'm no longer, I was kind of concerned about Deandra because being a single mom, it can be tough. Being a single mom who has gone through the conception troubles that she's had with her body, then experiencing postpartum, then a relationship breakup. That's a lot. And you're a single mom. But watching her brothers and how much they love her and love their nephew, Snow and Deandra are going to be okay. They were going to be okay, but you know what I mean? They are going to be okay. Um, the same way that all five of them have been brought up to love each other and support each other, everyone is imparting that into Snow. And it's very evident because he is a very confident and happy baby. He's smart enough to, you can reach for him, but I don't know you like that. Who is that, mommy? I don't know them. So he is smart enough to know, but he is very loving, very expressive. That little laugh is something else. And when you put him down and he gets a strutting, looking like a pint-sized George Jefferson with that strut. He is his own movie all by himself. Snow is his own movie all by himself. So watching him with all three of his uncles yesterday, they need to have a show. They do. They do because Shador and Shiloh, I forgot just how mischievous the two of them together can be. But the two of them together is something else. Um, they were out on the street, and it was some folks from Jackson State. Of course, you got some folks on the street, they hustling. But what I love is the amount of respect that people have for Coach Prime, that they didn't take advantage of his kids. Um, that's very telling. That spoke in volumes. And I saw some comments under some of the clips where people were like, "Don't talk to them low lifes," and don't did it. Um, People apparently they didn't watch the show. They don't know that Coach Prime packed that whole house up with all 11 of them kids and took them from the east side on back down to the downside, because he said what you're not going to do is grow up thinking this is how it is for everybody. So when Shador and Shiloh and Bucky are in certain parts of town and folks be like, no, you can't be there, they're like, yes, we can. Yes, we can. And why wouldn't we be? These are people too. So I love that, and I love that they are not afraid. They don't get around different groups of people and switch it up. They are who they are all the time. They don't go to the hood and start trying to emulate what's they are who they are. And people receive them well and treat them well. Yeah, when he was at his fest in Cleveland, like it's crazy. People can people can tell how you feel and you see them by your behavior and your energy. If you come in peace and love, then that's what you get. Now, don't get it twisted. We do know there are just some evil people in the world, but again, what you radiate is what's going to gravitate to you. It is what it is. But I'm so glad that Shador he's got the Pro Bowl under his belt. Um, he had an opportunity to go and see things, and I hope I hope other players who are in the position of Shador, because this whole thing about if you get invited and there's people that's better than you, you shouldn't go. The hell? This invitation came to me. This wasn't a group invitation. That's not how that works. That's not how that works at all. And I'm glad with everything that he does, he tells people who are coming up behind him, you too, you can do it too. This norm of you got to check all the boxes, you got to be absolutely perfect. No, you can be perfectly imperfect and still get invited to the party. And I love that. I love that he is changing that he is changing the mindset that it's one size fits all. What if somebody is absolutely the best at what they do, not by what you measure, but by what they do? And after we saw Shador at the Pro Bowl, he 100% deserved to be there. The energy, the culture, the narrative, for everybody that had something negative to say, everybody who was in attendance at the Pro Bowl debunked all of that. All of that. All of those gentlemen and the coaches alike represented their individual teams, their cities, and themselves with the greatest honor and sportsmanship, as well as being global citizens of the game. So Pro Bowl 2026 gets a great big old A plus. It checked all the boxes. Thank you, Sarah. It checked all the boxes in terms of, as a fan, did I leave there feeling good? Did I want more? Yes, I did. I was just so sleepy. I couldn't stay awake. But yes, it was amazing. And if I still had little bitty kids, I would be looking forward to Pro Bowl 2027 the way I'm looking forward to the NFL season 2026. So there is that. Now let's talk about some technical stuff because they played around a bit, but let's, during the game, Jalen is an awesome quarterback. Dak is a good quarterback. Joe Burrow's a good quarterback. Shedeur is a good quarterback. But you don't get to see, I guess what I'm trying to say is the velocity and the speed and the power in which these quarterbacks perform yesterday in that Pro Bowl. Now I understand what Travis meant at Pro Day when he said, I'm going to take my gloves off so you can hear how powerful Shedeur's throws are. Never mind, hear them. Those were missiles. And I'm going to say that for all the quarterbacks that were throwing yesterday. Watching them throw and not have to worry about the pocket or oncoming O-line, just being able to look out and find somebody and just boom. Y'all better put some respect on their name. And when it comes to Shedeur Sanders, yeah. Because when I say he can throw, I've always known he can throw. But the precision in which he throws and the power that he has and watching him do it when he runs is just so freaking exciting. Like, oh my God. You could tell in his face that even though they were having fun, for Shedeur, it's fun, but it's always business for him when he's under center. Whether it's at a Pro Bowl, a pickup game, down the street at the school, or whatever. Shedeur is extremely meticulous and serious about his craft. And I love that. I do. I love it. There was some interceptions. And someone had posted that Shedeur didn't start getting interceptions until he got to the NFL. Not that he didn't have any in college, it just wasn't so often. And I don't know if that's a development thing or if that's a receiver thing or whatever, but I know for him, anytime there's not a connection between him and his receivers, he got to go back to the drawing board and figure it out. We got to go back to the drawing board and figure it out. I did see that, Wanda, that, Don O's commentary yesterday was very different. He too was speaking fluent Shedeur. So that was a good thing to see and hear. I don't know what they're saying in Cleveland. I'm trying not to blame nobody, Didi, but I'm kind of thinking it is too. But I know during spring training as well as summer training and practice, those are going to be things that will be worked on because in the Pro Bowl, because the players were switching positions and playing positions they don't normally play, you got a chance to hear how the quarterbacks talk to the players on the field when they're trying to build that chemistry with them and find out, okay, what is it this is what I do. So now we got a better understanding of how that works. And it gets to a point where your center is easy as breathing when it comes to their quarterback because they've had these dialogues. They've talked about things, shared with each other, mannerisms and maneuvers that will help them connect better on the field. So I am certain during spring training and summer training that those little things are going to get cleaned up. Now, while the players were in California, meanwhile, back in Cleveland, yesterday, Andrew Berry did a phenomenal job of introducing Coach Todd to the press, giving them an opportunity to meet him, talk to him. And let's be clear, Coach Todd stood up there sharp as fresh broken glass in that chocolate brown rugged silk suit and that beautiful orange sherbet tie. It was not a game for him. He came and there were no notes. He came. Yes, he did. Yeah, he did. He got up there, and if before yesterday I was like, "Oh, I'm so excited about Coach Todd," but after yesterday's presser, baby, I am all in. It's taking me some time to convert to saying I'm a Cleveland Browns fan, but I clearly will tell you I'm a Coach Todd fan, and we ain't even hit a snap yet. His press conference, let me tell you something. When you talk about a coach who is coming into an organization and he is wanting to align with the front office, administrative staff, his defense, his offense, when a coach is really locked in, they say it loud and proud. And Coach Todd did. He made it known that he is here for his players. Let me say it again for the people in the back. Coach Todd made it crystal clear that he is here for his players. He is not interested in what you think and what you say. He is here for his team. Now, in typical fashion, Todd Grassi and Mary Kay Cabot, they just don't know how to behave when you have company. They are those kids that you usually have to take your fingers and twist and pinch their skin, or snatch them up in the back to where they draws right up the crack of their behind and all the way up to their ears. That kind of pull up you do. You know what I'm talking about. And then you be talking through your teeth. Get yourself together before I bust you in your face. That's who they are, because they got up in front of God, all 12 disciples, and the global sports media world, and just literally embarrassed themselves. Not Cleveland, they embarrassed themselves. Shedeur is in California. Okay. Shedeur is in California. Coach Todd is right here with you. Andrew Berry introduced Coach Todd to you. What does Mary Kay Cabot get up and do? So, do you think Shedeur Sanders is going to be your QB1? And if not, who are you? Ma'am, ma'am. I don't know if you noticed, that's not Kevin Stefanski. This is not the 2025 season. We're now working towards 2026. You didn't see the film with Coach Todd and Shedeur? You didn't get that? Oh, okay. You didn't see Bucky's film when Coach Todd brought Shedeur to Georgia for a visit and trying to get him to sign? Uh, you didn't know that the Baltimore Ravens wanted Shedeur because Coach Todd said, go get him? You're asking the man who so eloquently said, it all worked out. You missed that. And you stood up and asked that question. Hmm. This is why I say that she is not credentialed or certified to be talking about anything. Because you didn't vet your people before you went to the, because us at home, even on the couch, we didn't been through Wikipedia, Google, NFL, and anything else we could find to do the background on Coach Todd, because we needed to make sure whoever is coming in Cleveland the door, what he be like. But okay, girl, you're just not even real bright. But then there's Tony Grassi. It didn't stop with Mary Kay, because Tony Grassi then comes and asks, what were your thoughts when you were in Baltimore and it was on the table to recruit Shedeur? He's wearing chocolate brown and orange. He's in Berea. Why are you asking him anything? And why are you asking him about his scouting and recruiting of Shedeur? Shedeur is a seated member of the Cleveland Browns organization. Why didn't both of y'all go to Atlanta? Why didn't y'all go to Atlanta? I know why you didn't go to Atlanta. Because they would chew you up and spit you out as soon as you hit the city limits. But I digress. Needless to say, like I said, if before yesterday's press conference there was a question about Coach Todd, it ain't no more. Because even with those two twit bots and what they were trying to do, he shut it down. He shut it down. Anybody that asked a question that had a negative annotation was talking about yesterday, yesteryear, he shut it down. Mhm. And I was like, okay, I like it. He actually said his quarterback's name. I like it. But I didn't expect any less from him. You know, these are just little things you kind of flash back on, like, oh, this is a different kind of press conference. He's speaking and he's being transparent. I love the respect that he has shown towards Jim Schwartz and that whole situation. His navigation of that, it wasn't a swerve and playing on our ignorance. He told the truth and said, right now, that's not a conversation that we're going to have. That's information that will come later. That was truthful, transparent. It's not, because Andrew Berry is introducing the head coach of the organization to you. Here is your opportunity to get to know him. You're talking about Shedeur Sanders, and he's in California. Coach Todd and Shedeur already had their moment. We saw it. I don't know where y'all were, but here's the tip. Google is free and YouTube is too, unless you subscribe to YouTube Premium. So go with God and go with that. That's all I can say about that. Now, we get ready and see what we will amass in Cleveland from the draft. And then after the draft, what we will get with undrafted free agents. Hey, Sellers. So this is where we are now, boys and girls. I believe we are in a very good place. Yes, we are. And if there was any question in your mind, the direction of the NFL as the 32 teams straight across the board, as well as specifically the Cleveland Browns, I am certain that the performance of everybody at the Pro Bowl let us know that it is a new day, not just in Cleveland, but straight across the board. The players are reinvigorated, they are energized. There is a lot more engagement in between. It's cool for us to be cool when we're off the field, and the day of good quality football and hero football players, it's coming back. And as a fan, I'm excited about that. It has been a long time absence from that, and it is now coming back, and I am ecstatic that it is happening. The red eye shoes that everybody was wearing, those drop on the 7th. Those drop on the 7th. The red shoes that everybody had on, those drop on the 7th. So, I am in a chat group with the aunties, the CU aunties that live in Houston, and this is me being transparent. As you probably can tell, I am probably someone who is a very strong proponent of positivity. And one of the things that I have said in that group is, why do we still talk about the haters? Like there was a post in there, oh, incoming, haters incoming. Why do we care? Why do we care? With all the positivity and the love and all of the things that are on the horizon to celebrate, why do we even care what they're going to say? Why are we even scrolling on their pages or listening to it? And I'm gonna step away from being the internet auntie and I'm gonna say this, because what you continue to feed your mind, your body believes. This is how anxiety and panic and depression sets in, because a notion is planted into your brain and then you move accordingly. Your body follows the transmission that are given by your brain. So if you're constantly feeding it violence or you're feeding it negativity, any of those things, please do not be like, oh my God, I don't understand why all these things are happening to me. What do you feed yourself? Because we don't just eat food. What we receive and give our brains is what comes out of our mouth, is what our bodies perform. There was nothing yesterday or the last couple of days with everything that was going on in California at the Pro Bowl that said, let's talk about the haters. Not one member of that Pro Bowl team was engaged in anything that looked like what the haters were talking about. We saw lots of laughing. We saw lots of hugs. We saw lots of playing and joking. We saw lots of pictures with family members and fans. We saw commercials of the different philanthropic activities that some of these players and these organizations participate in and giving back to their communities. Not once was there a commercial on what the haters were talking about. So I will say this again to any member of the internet family that support Shedeur. April 2025, it's gone. It's over. There's nothing we can do about it. We were all present. We were there. We saw it. We felt it. It's gone. Kevin Stefanski is no longer in Cleveland. Todd Monken is. Shedeur made Rookie of the Year. He was placed on the Pro Bowl voting. He was a member of the Pro Bowl team. He got to play. He is in California as we speak, enjoying Super Bowl activities with his brothers and his older sister and his nephew. I did not see anything on any of their posts talking about, now watch what the haters got to say about this. Why do we talk like that? And I'm touching on it because we don't just do that with Shedeur. We do that, period. Why? Why? We're winning. We got what we wanted. We wanted a coach that was going to work with him, develop him, and provide an environment that was conducive to winning and him continuing becoming a better football player. Check that off the box. We got that. Kevin Stefanski has been fired. We got that. Check that off the box too. Now, Mary Kay Cabot and Tony Grassi, that it is what it is. We don't have the power to change, them being there, whatever. But you don't have to subscribe, read, or comment anything that's on cleveland.com. You don't have to go to 90, whatever the station is with their podcast. You don't have to watch them either. You don't have to go to the Ultimate Cleveland clown show or any of that, or any of these people who come online and they jump in these groups or they say something or they do these posts or whatever. Why do we care? Do you not believe? Because that's the only answer I can give you. You really don't believe what is happening, and you stuck in yesterday. Thank you, boo. I'm going to say this to you. I will open up the library on anybody that comes in here being disrespectful because you came in my house. I ain't coming yours. So there's that. But just on GP, I don't want to talk about, did you hear what so and so? Don't send me no post about people who getting into it or having they issues about what's happening. Shedeur Sanders is a member of the Cleveland Browns team. He is not going anywhere. Andrew Berry has let you know that, okay? They are building a team around Shedeur Sanders. If you still stuck on people who do not believe in this culture shift and narrative, you are no different than the people who are spewing this vitriol and venom. You are enabling it with your consistent attention and feeding into it. When I tell people to protect their peace and their mental health, I ain't just talking to you. I'm talking to myself too. And let me be as clear as I can be when I say this to the world. If it costs me my peace, it's too expensive. I don't have a problem at all in giving out pink slips. All of us at some point in our lives have had a chapter of storms, downtrodden roads, money short, things ain't adding up, obstacles, sacrifices, and disappointments. Do you really think we're volunteering to participate in that? Thank you, Rochelle. No, we are not. And I would like to say, Tish and Rochelle, that my stunning looks are a result of the very thing I'm talking about right now. I woke up one morning and I looked at myself and realized I was sinking into that rut. And it was like, no, 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 that's not what we do. That's not who we are. Get yourself together. Because I had wrapped myself around the fact that I had failed that damn test. And yeah. So when I am sharing things with you guys, I am not talking from a spectator's seat. I am sharing with you from my own experience because I know how dangerous it is to get caught up in those negative tropes. And nothing is more sensational than negativity. Let's be clear. Negativity sells, it attracts, it encourages, it enables. People will believe beautiful BS before they believe ugly truth. Thank you. So if you are in here, come on through, Rochelle. Come on through. If you are in here and you fit those shoes, let's do what we need to do to get you where you need to be. Because the positive train has left the station and it is chugging along, honey. It is going. It is going. There are never losses in life, just lessons. And the lesson that I learned watching that young man in Cleveland is you put 10 toes flat and you put your shoulders to the wall and you stand and you face it. Because if God brought you to it, he's definitely going to bring you through it. But you got to recognize your own power before he touches it with any of his. And he is definitely not touching anything that sounds like I can't, woe is me, or what about this? And look at them. That is not where we are. That is not where we are. That's not where we are, people. Mm-mm. And neither is Shedeur. That is a one-way ticket to Depressionville. And from there, things just continue to go down. Your mental psyche, it's so powerful and so strong. It deserves more than that. There are people, hey Octavius, there are people who want to be there. That is what they thrive in. Look at those twits in Cleveland that we talk about all the time, those sports pundits, those people. Mary Kay and Tony Grassi are a perfect example of people who are married to darkness and toxicity and sadness, because that's all that ever comes out of their mouths. They do not breathe life or speak life into things. They cosplay and pretend like they are purveyors of information and education, when actually what they are doing is trying to hack everybody at their ankles and keep them belittled and confused and in chaotic confusion. Those people don't deserve our attention. And if that's what you want to do, we grown. Do your thing. But please don't come in here. This is a safe space for happy. This is a safe space for forward and progressive thinking people. This is a safe space for people who are celebrating life and embracing the things that they cannot change and understand, and they just have to go back to the drawing board and fix it. But talking about what happened and what, we're not the same. And I promise you, chat, every day, I'm so ready to delete myself from the group for that simple fact. I don't even want to see it. That's the truth. And I'm not naive that there are things that will happen. Yes, things happen all the time, but it's how we respond and rebound from them that speak to the character of who we really are. So I will leave those pearls with you. Okay, Kim. It was a receiver thing. Okay, we're gonna go with that. We're gonna go with that. It was a receiver thing. It wasn't the quarterback, it was the receiver. I received that. I'll receive that. Family, we up. We're winning. We prayed and we asked, and God said, ta-da! Now let Coach Todd and his coaching staff get in those offices and get in those books and create some magic. Let's get ready for some amazing football. Let's get ready for some amazing life. Ta-da! All right, my loves, as always, go out there and do great things. I got to get up and get going. It is always a joy to share and be in the company of all of you amazing people. I am so glad that we are always better than we were when we first logged on, after we log off. So everybody, protect your peace and your mental health.